Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's C-O-M-B-E-S-T, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?
I'm Egbert, the owner of this station. Check out my website at egbert.com. That's E-G-G-B-U-R-T, egbert.com. Now it's back to Brad and John. Check out their website at bjshow.co. The BJ Show? Come on, guys. Anyway, here's B and J.
Egbert got the address right. Why can't I get that web address right? BJ
He was
Show.
probably reading it from a script somewhere,
You
Brad.
think?
With all due respect to Egbert.
Not Egbert. Egbert's a guy like Elon Musk. He's just like this savant kind of guy that just knows everything off the top of his head. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and a friend of mine who listens to our show texted me a day or two ago, and she said, I'm changing your name in my phone to Political Savant because of you, Brad. And of course, per usual, I responded and said, how about we make that Idiot Savant? So I'm either in her phone today as Political Savant or Idiot Savant.
John can tell you, if you mention the most obscure state rep in the state of Missouri, John would know who that is, correct?
I wouldn't know everyone and over a huge period of time, but I would probably know most who deserve to be mentioned. I would just say that.
Okay, let's take the farthest northwestern county or the furthest northwestern political subdivision in Missouri, which would be up there, I guess, along the Missouri River, across the border from Nebraska. Who would be the state rep up there?
A guy up there that probably has the highest profile is Dean Van Showiak.
See, I knew you'd know this. Never heard of him before.
He's up there in the northwest part of the state.
Yes. I used to drive that quite a bit when I used to work in Omaha. I mean, when I had a company in Des Moines as well as Omaha. And once again, I'll say it loud and proud. Two very nice cities that everybody makes fun of. Omaha,
you're a big fan of both. I've been to both of them. I think they're great.
Let me tell you, Omaha has the world's best airport. And here's the deal with Omaha, okay?
That's quite a statement there, Brad.
No,
world's best airport?
I'm telling you. Here's the reason why. I used to fly up there because of the fact that the crazy story was that back in the day, this is the late 90s, early 2000s, for me to fly from, this is when TWA was still around, for me to fly from St. Louis to Des Moines, the cheapest advance fare I could get, like if I booked it a month out, was like $1,400. It was just crazy. And matter of fact, Des Moines, the companies, there's a lot of companies in Des Moines, a lot of big Fortune 500 companies. A lot of insurance companies have their back office operations in Des Moines. And it was so bad in Des Moines because, once again, the key in air travel now is if you want affordable air travel into a city, you have to have either Spirit or Southwest, or both of them fly into that city. If Spirit or Southwest serves that city, then the other airlines get their prices in line. But if they don't, if one of those two airlines, specifically Southwest, does not fly into that city, they're just charging you out the wing-wang, and nobody wants to get charged out the wing-wang, okay? So it got so expensive that a bunch of the companies pooled their resources and bought some planes and started their own little airline.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they would fly to Chicago and they would fly to New York.
So by the way, obviously so many ag companies have a huge presence in Iowa.
Right.
And every 2 years, you have a huge influx of people because the biggest outdoor farm show of the year is called Farm Progress. And it alternates between Boone, Iowa, which is about an hour drive from Des Moines. Do you know where Boone is?
Oh, I do know where that is.
Okay, so Boone every 2 years hosts Farm Progress, which is, the biggest event in Boone, Iowa, obviously, and it's only every 2 years, so it alternates with Decatur, Illinois. So these two relatively small cities just have, for 1 week every 2 years, just have a huge boon to their economic, activity.
It's like the Iowa State Fair is the same thing. The Iowa State,
huge deal. Isn't Iowa State Fair like a week long?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. And matter of fact, the running joke there is all the candidates come out there, and the running joke is everybody's gotta be, have a picture of them taking a bite off their turkey leg that they bought.
Yeah, a corn dog or something.
And matter of fact, who was the one guy? I think he passed away, but he was either a senator or a state rep who was the actor Fred.
Fred Thompson.
Fred Thompson. Okay.
I loved Fred Thompson.
I remember the story. I think he was in a couple of Die Hard movies, wasn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, he was in like Hunt for Red October.
Right.
Wasn't he?
Really good actor. Okay, I remember the story that he got somewhat dissed by a lot of the local press there, that he showed up in like an expensive pair of linen slacks.
Yeah, dress pants or something.
Right,
yeah, I remember this.
Dress pants and like a heavily starched shirt, and he was wearing like Gucci loafers with no socks.
Yeah.
And the local people were going like, who's he trying to fool? It's like, hey, there's nobody in Iowa dresses like that,
Yeah, not at all. The thing, when I think about Fred Thompson, he announced his campaign. I think he went on Leno's show to do it.
Right.
And the thing that, because I liked Fred Thompson, I thought he was cool. I bought into his whole populist shtick, but he had one of these really annoying physical tics where when he would make a point, he would rub his leg and pat it. So like when you would see him on Jay Leno, he's just patting his leg and he looks like he's about to play patty cake or something like that.
I think he's no longer with us. Yes, he died.
I think he passed away, yeah.
He died in 2015. He was an American politician, attorney, lobbyist, columnist, actor, and radio personality. Member of the Republican Party, he served as United States Senator from Tennessee from 94 to 2003. Thompson was an unsuccessful candidate, Republican Party presidential candidate primaries for the 2008 United States presidential election. Yep. Good-looking guy, a deep voice, had a little bit that, didn't have too much of it, but had that little bit of that Tennessee twinge in his voice, enough to make him, sort of stick out, like that kind of stuff. Okay, man, we're just talking about all sorts of weird stuff this morning. Okay, the point I was trying to make was, okay, let me go back to the Omaha airport. You get me sidetracked, okay?
Yeah.
I used to fly, because it was so expensive to fly to Des Moines. If I didn't want to drive the entire 6 hours, I would fly from St. Louis to Omaha, which was relatively inexpensive, and I would rent a car and I would drive across I-80 over to Des Moines, and that was my routine.
How far of a drive is that?
About 2 hours.
That's easy.
And you drive through. When you're driving in western Iowa, let me tell you, you see two things. You see lots of truck stops, because that's a big major interstate. Across the United States, the northern section. Not as much as 90, but it's still sort of up there. You see two things. You see that, and you see a lot of windmills. A lot of windmills up in Iowa, even back then. Okay, a lot of wind up there. Okay, so the point I was making was the world's best airport was, I obviously rent a car. And the way that airport was set up is that I had a little game I play with myself on my watch, which I wore at the time. I would hit my timer, and when I walked off the plane, in other words, when I stepped off the plane onto the jetway, I would start my timer. And I would always try to beat my last time. I could walk off the plane and be in my rental car on the way out of the rental car garage in under 4 minutes.
There's no way.
Yes, because the fact that I can tell you, unless they've changed the airport, to this day, the concourse that I was on, you'd walk off the jetway, you'd walk a small concourse. There was an escalator that went right down from the concourse. The rental car counters were right there at the bottom of this concourse. The rental car counters were against the outside wall of the airport, like the front wall of the airport. And the parking garage where the rental cars were was across the street. So I would
right
get up
there.
I would get off the jetway, walk through the little bit of the concourse, go down the escalator. My rental car was right there, and just like O.J. Simpson, I was in the Gold Club or whatever it was, and it had my name on my little packet with my stuff.
Placard, yeah.
And I go, I'm Hildebrand, and they go, oh, Mr. Hildebrand, we can say ID. I'd show my ID. They'd hand me my packet and my keys, and they go, you're in row 22, slot A, and Hertz was on the first floor of the parking garage. Literally, you walk across the street. It's like 5-6 lanes of traffic, and you go into the parking garage, and Hertz was right there. So, I'm telling you, I think my best time was one day my all-time best time was 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
And that shows, first of all, not just like airport layout, but just when you're not flying into some monstrosity of an airport.
Exactly.
And while we're playing the nostalgia game, it's the city I went to most frequently during my time at Monsanto was Lubbock, Texas, in beautiful West Texas. And Brad, you walk right out of the concourse. The rental car stuff is right there. Like it's maybe 30 steps after the gate. And then you walk out the sliding glass doors, and then you have the parking lot. And, as a company, we're mandated we can only rent from one company.
Right.
And then we walk right out to the gravel lot. You get in your car, and then when you get on the road, Brad, depending on the time of year, you're just driving through beautiful, fluffy white cotton fields. It's just majestic. It really takes me back.
But see, here's the interesting thing. Hold on a minute. I can clear my voice. This is what drives me nuts if you've seen the new proposed airport layout for the new terminal at Lambert, okay?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, my God. Once again, here we go. To the point where if you fly Southwest, you get spoiled, where if somebody drops you off at the airport and you go up on the departure level, okay?
Yep.
You let them off at the curb, and you can look through the doors and see the queue line for the TSA, okay? So from the time you drop them off at the curb and to the time they walk through the sliding doors there in front, to the point where they are in the queue to go through, the little velvet ropes, or not the velvet ropes, it's the rope line to get into, to get your, boarding pass, all that kind of stuff. It's like 100 feet, okay? And it's like, in and out. I love flying Southwest. The new terminal would be, they're still going to keep the old terminal, but all the planes are in one concourse. And you got to walk way down the concourse before you get to any of the planes. It's sort of like, it's not as bad as if you've ever flown in like Las Vegas, where you take the little shuttles, shuttles that take you, you know what I'm talking about? The little.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Tampa's like that.
Yeah, and there's a couple other airports like that I've flown into, where you get on the little shuttle thing, and it's well, I know Las Vegas like that because Las Vegas has such a huge airport. And I'm going like, okay, so, what's the old saying? If there's no problem, why are you trying to fix it?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. So it's to the point where it's like, okay, Lambert is not like the airport it once upon a time was. When I was flying helicopters doing traffic, we were a top 10 airport as far as traffic concerned. I don't think we're in the top 50 anymore. We may not even be in the top 75 as far as airport activity at the airport. It's just gotten sad.
Well, but I don't know why folks are focusing on the airport when St. Louis County needs a new logo. Why does anybody care about an airport when I want to make sure that the region's branding is consistent across all letterhead?
If you know what we're talking about, what was it? It came out that here the Sam Page is claiming they have a $40 million deficit in their budget, but yet they spent $90,000.
It was $90K. Yeah. Hey, unpopular opinion. That is a steal to hire a creative agency to do branding. That doesn't mean they should have done it. But it means if you can get an agency of more than a handful of people to do a rebranding campaign for you, and you're only dropping $90K,
John,
you're doing pretty well.
You live in a different world. You know what I do? You know what?
Hey, but let me repeat that again, though, Brad. That doesn't mean that the county should have hired a branding and creative agency to do it. Even the Post-Dispatch today, their editorial today talks about how they could have done a contest. They could have had local businesses, sponsor a new logo campaign. But if you're going to go out and hire an agency, like $90K is not a bad deal.
Okay, the B&J logo, the Brad and John logo,
it costs $91,000, right?
$20 on Fiverr.
And you know what? You know who suggested in the Twitter comments, because I was reading about this, somebody was like, why didn't they go to Fiverr?
Yes, I mean,
I think I sent that to you. I was like, well, here you go.
I've got logos for my various businesses and websites I put up that I've done for clients, and I send them the logo. They're like, oh my God, that logo's great. It's $5 on Fiverr.
It's amazing. By the way, that does speak to the gig community and the fact there are so many good creators out there,
and
if you give them $20, they'll give you some great options.
And they're all halfway around the world. They're all over in Indonesia.
They're all in Indonesia
right,
or Singapore or somewhere like that.
There's none of them around here. Okay, we didn't talk about Georgia. We didn't talk about Fannie Willis. Really quick, there's another big controversy. We touched on this the other day, that the special prosecutor that she hired, who was going after Trump, she's having a romantic affair with the guy. They've already spent $600,000 with this firm that he works for, and on the expense reports, it turns out that they matched up their travel schedules. That he's going to these locations for various things, and she's at the same place with him at the same time. Ironically, or isn't that strange? It's like, okay, some people are going like, okay, this is going to blow that trial up. I say,
and
no.
You guys, everybody, go to johncombest.com today. The top link. I have the timestamp. Listen to Will Scharf explain with a straight face exactly what's going on in that case.
And he talks about that, correct?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. It's like, okay, what is she thinking? Hey, have a good weekend, John. We'll be here Monday, even though everybody else is off, right?
That's right. See everybody Monday.